Hello everyone on the internet, my name is Katarina. Welcome to my channel, Curiosity Killed a Cat. Today I will be building a February TBR with you. I have to be honest with you, I don't really do TBRs. I don't really plan my reading at all. The most I plan it is just what I'm reading now and the next book I might be reading, and that's it. Or if I have them in from the library, I kind of have a time limit in which I have to read them, and so I stick to it. But that's really it. So, this is something new for me, but with the hopes that this year I'm going to be more consistent in my reading, I think I'm maybe building a TBR that's kind of like a challenge for myself to hold myself accountable and to have something to aspire to by the end of the month might be very helpful. If anything, look at this as what I'm potentially thinking about getting to in the next month or so, up to spring and mid-spring or something. Speaking of library books, I do have two I need to get to before I have to return them to the library. The first one is Madonna in a Fur Coat by Sabahattin Ali. This is a Turkish novel in which we follow this doom romance between Raif, who is a shy, artistic young man from Turkey, and Maria, who is a painter he meets in 1920s Berlin. I heard a lot of great things about this one, and it's one of my 26 books I want to read in 2026, which will be a video soon. And the next one I want to get to is Station 11. This one I've heard so many good things about. I'm super excited to get to it because I really loved A Sea of Tranquility last year, which was one of my favorite reads. This is a post-apocalyptic saga detailing the collapse of civilization due to the Georgian flu, a rapid pandemic that kills 99% of the population. The story follows intertwined lives before and 20 years after the outbreak, focusing on a traveling theater troupe, the Traveling Symphony, as they navigate a dangerous new world while preserving art, humanity, and memories of the past. So, super stoked to get to this one. Lastly, I have it on hold at the library right now. I should go and get it today. And it's Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, which is a gothic character-driven fantasy exploring themes of loneliness, power, and queer longing through the lives of three women who become vampires. So super stoked to get to all of those in February. I have my two picks for the Buzzword Challenge for February. So for the keyboard keys prompt, I'm kind of cheating a bit, and I'm choosing And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison, which is about two competing meteorologists who are forced to find common ground in this opposites attracts When Harry Met Sally inspired romance. The reason I say I'm cheating a bit is because I'm using the word back for the backspace key on the keyboard, as well as for the shortcut is Alt plus the left arrow. So I don't know if this is how I meant to interpret this prompt, but it's how I chose to do it. And this is an upcoming release that I'm super excited about, and I want to get to it in February ASAP. And for the silhouette prompt for the cover, I'm choosing The Emperor of Gladness by Ocean Wong, who I'm a big fan of, and I wanted to get to this one in 2025, but didn't get to it. This one we're following Hai, a young Vietnamese American immigrant struggling with addiction and hopelessness, who forms an unlikely bond with Grazina, an 80-year-old Lithuanian widow with dementia. It sounds really good, and I'm super excited to get to it. For the new releases, I have a couple on my radar which I might get to in February, at least to try out and then see if I like them enough to continue. The first one is Greedy by Kali Kazumi. This is set in remote Japan, where a desperate gambling addict masquerades as a private chef to a reclusive billionaire with deadly taste. I have How to Kill a Guy in 10 Days by Shaylee Thompson, which is also a Literally Dead book club pick. And in this one, we follow a young woman who gets caught in the middle of a murder spree at a speed dating event, and she has to use her encyclopedic knowledge of horror movies and the horror genre to make it as a real-life final girl. Then we have A Stage Set for Villains, which is a standalone YA fantasy by Shannon J. Span, in which we follow our 18-year-old Raymond Hesper, who's dying from a curse, and she infiltrates a deadly traveling playhouse to kill a godlike player and steal their power. She makes a dangerous deal with the ruthless lead player Jude, while discovering that to survive she might be becoming a villain herself. This one sounds really good, but I'm gonna try it out and see if I like it. We have Good Friends by Zoe Rose Bryant, which is her debut novel. I know her from Twitter, so I'm super excited to give this one a shot. And it's a coming-of-age story about Andy and Owen's complex friendship in small-town Nebraska as they navigate sexuality, identity, and their evolving relationship over a decade. The last new release that's on my radar is Cleopatra by Sara El Arifi. This is a fierce feminist retelling of the last pharaoh of Egypt. I'm super stoked about that. I definitely had the Egyptian, Greek, Roman mythology phase when I was a kid. I was that girl, so I'm super stoked to get to this one as well because I was also a fan of the history aspect of it too. Speaking of challenges, there's a couple of Goodreads challenges that I want to complete and accomplish in the month of February just so that I am moving ahead with the winter challenge. First one is the Choice Archives, for which I want to read Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. And it follows Cyrus Shams, a newly sober queer Iranian American poet living in the Midwest, who is haunted by his mother's death in the 1988 US shooting down of an Iranian airliner. So he becomes obsessed with the concept of martyrdom while navigating addiction and his identity. I've heard nothing but great things about this one. I wanted to get to it in 2025, but I didn't. So I'm hoping to get to it in February or by the end of the Goodreads winter challenge. Then for lasting reads, I will be reading Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, so this one counts for that one. For Black Heritage, which is in order of Black History Month, I want to read Palaver by Brian Washington, a literary novel following the tense, emotional, and ultimately healing reunion between an estranged gay Jamaican-American son living in Tokyo and his visiting mother, which seems to be a common theme with Brian Washington novels. I need to actually read his backlist. I've had his debut on my TBR for a while and I haven't gotten to it. And then lastly, the one I want to cover in February, because my priorities will be Black Heritage and Sweeney Stories because it's the Black History Month and the Valentine's Day like romance prompt. And for that one, I want to read The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley. And this story is focused on a top secret project where selected figures from the past have been rescued from death in their own timeline and brought to modern day Britain. And I love a good time travel story. So hopefully I'll like this one. I've heard pretty good things, but also pretty mixed things. So we'll see. When it comes to what I might read in February, or when I want to get to soon, it's some arcs that I have from NetGalley. I was approved for the arc of Molka by Monica Kim, which I was so excited about because I loved Eyes Are the Best Part. This one, we're following Dahyek, who can't believe her luck when she finds herself in a whirlwind romance with handsome, charismatic Hyuk Jun, the heir to a multi-million-dollar fortune, but then a shocking revelation threatens. The couple has been caught on a spy cam amid Korea's growing Molka epidemic, and the video is all over the internet. So Molka really is the one that I absolutely want to get to ASAP. Specifically in February, but we'll see. I do have time. I think that one is out in April, but I really want to get to it as soon as possible. I have two more. I have Payback by Elizabeth Rose Quinn. 7 privileged inmates at a luxury weekend prison must solve their guard's murder while trapped during a storm as bodies pile up and suspicions mount. I love a good closed door mystery thriller type thing, especially if it's a bit comedic, and I think this one might be, so we'll see. And then lastly, I have Mr. and Mrs. Vixen Hide a Body by Jennifer Holditch, which is about a dysfunctional failing marriage. It takes a dark turn when Daisy and her husband James accidentally kill a man and bury them in their estate. When a storm washes the body up, the couple turns against each other, with the husband trying to frame the wife. So I really liked this premise, and I'm so glad that I got approved for the arc. Thank you, and NetGalley. I will be reading these soon. And then lastly, I should probably tell you what I'm reading right now. I am currently reading The Future Saints by Ashley Winstead, which follows a music executive who's desperately trying to bring a rock band back from the brink. I'm really enjoying it, even though there was an Ashley Winstead book I read a while back that I did not like. I actually hated it. So I was a bit skeptic heading into this one, although I loved the premise. I love a good historical fiction type, big band story, even though I did not like Daisy Jones and the Six. Who would have thought? I do like this type of story, so I gave it a shot, and about 15% in, I am digging it, so hopefully it stays that way. These are my reading plans for February. I think they're a bit too ambitious for such a short month, but we shall see. What are you planning on reading in February? Please tell me down below. Do we have any of the same books on our TBR? Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to follow my reading journey, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!